I like the sound of waves crashing, and even though it really was cold, I kind of liked the harshness of the landscape. Life down there in the rocks was precarious. You had the ocean, this living thing that encircled the planet, eating away relentlessly at the land, chewing it down, bite after patient bite. And the rocks were nothing but the crumbs that fell from Mother Ocean's mouth. But there, in those crumbs, in those rocks that would soon be ground into sand, there were hundreds of living things, entire universes contained in 18 ounces of seawater, cupped in the armpit of a rock. Wow, Rachel, I never realized you had such a poetic way of thinking. I mean, I knew you were smart. I mean, you won that student award once, but I always figured you saw the world more bluntly, not the person to get all philosophical at sunrise. I guess it just goes to show you that you shouldn't underestimate anyone. I kicked angrily at an outcropping of rock. This was a bad idea. I was barefoot. Oh, well, never mind then.
It shows us all the places that we want to go and look. Superbook, Superbook.
Our book opens with a class field trip along one of the rocky shorelines near the city, where teachers try to get students interested in tide pools. Seeing as how this is a coastal city and these kids can come over and look at these things at any time as homework, I think it's pretty likely that the local science teachers just wanted a 3-hour smoke break. Cassie and Rachel are there, and Rachel goes off on her own for deep thinking. However, while she peers into one of the tide pools, one of her earrings falls out and gets lost in a crack on the bottom. It's a pretty rare earring that her dad gave her, so Rachel isn't going to give it up without a fight, so she acquires and morphs a starfish. She manages to get the earring, but as she slowly climbs out of the pool, a child passes by, and, well, there's nothing children love more than terrorizing animals, and soon Rachel finds herself sliced in half by a toy shovel. Panicked, Rachel demorphs and gets a bit crazy, seriously considering murdering the kid, but hey, she just had a near-death experience, emotions are running high, I'm sure she'll calm down. She leaves, and suddenly, the remaining half of the starfish demorphs into another Rachel. Yep, what we've got here is a classic character split plot, with two dynamically different Rachels running around. We will refer to them as the book does, as Mean Rachel and Nice Rachel. It's a very goofy, soft sci-fi kind of plot that one usually associates with Star Trek or similar fictions. What's interesting here is that this book was written by Kay Applegate and not one of the ghostwriters. The last time this would happen for the main book series until number 53, The Answer. The common fan quip for this is, really? Out of all the books she could have taken over, it was this one, the silly split Rachel plot? However, Applegate did not write this book in full because she felt particularly attached to this story over any of the others. There's actually a much more straightforward answer. I refer back to the email conversation I brought up in my review of number 30, The Reunion, the one that revealed that Ellis Donner became the ghostwriter for that book because the original one assigned had completely botched it. A few paragraphs later in that same email, she dropped this line. Finally, I have rewritten some of the ghost books so massively, they are my books. One I threw out entirely and did myself. Not out yet. From the dating on the emails, the only book this could possibly refer to is number 32, The Separation. So yeah, Applegate wrote this book in full because the original ghostwriter sucked. I like to imagine it was the same mystery ghostwriter who botched number 30. Okay, giving you The Reunion was my bad. I should have done a better job assessing your strength as a writer and realized that something so character-driven and thickly plotted might have been out of your league. So what are you wearing? I'm a ghostwriter. Woo! Right. You're more of a big idea kind of writer, the one who likes big action scenes and in-your-face symbolism, so I figured The Separation would be the perfect fit for you, but look at this shit. Nice Rachel is a little slut who's trying to bone everyone, including Jake and Chapman, and Mean Rachel burns down an orphanage because one of the children wouldn't give up their baby bottle pop. And that's in the first 20 pages. You will be haunted by 3 spirits. Woo! Later, both Rachels have a Highlander duel on top of the Chrysler building, which is on the wrong side of the country for some reason, realize they're really good at this and form a professional wrestling tag team, winning tag team belts from Vader and Tiger Mask. The flip book in the corner is the dancing baby from Ally McBeal. And do you think I wouldn't have noticed that you kept spelling it Pisser 3? I'm sorry, but I'm tossing this and officially firing you from the ghostwriting circle. What do you have to say for yourself? I got a rock! Woo! This book offers me a bit of a challenge in review, as it consistently jumps narration between Mean Rachel and Nice Rachel. While Mean Rachel just flies off to go fly with Tobias, Nice Rachel catches the school bus and plans out a mall trip with Cassie. Now, whatever you're imagining Mean Rachel to be like is most likely correct. She's aggressive, abrasive, thrill-seeking, rather manic, and doesn't care much about other people. Tobias is disturbed when, while an eagle morph, she kills and eats a fish. Not because she lost control of the animal's instincts, but just for the thrill of killing a smaller and weaker animal. I ate the heart. Then, it stopped beating. Ooh, that's the line of the book for me. Goofy plot or no, Kay Applegate always knows how to make your spine shiver a little. Now, Nice Rachel, on the other hand, I demorphed in a total, panic. I needed to be with, people. Cassie is my best friend in the whole world, but she is totally not into clothing or shopping. I mean, I love her, but the girl dresses like someone who should be wearing a tool belt and saying, can I fix your leaky faucet or whatever? Me, I love shopping. I have a talent for it. You know the way Mozart could write music, or Shakespeare could write words, or the way Will Smith can be all cute? That's how it is with me and shopping. Yep, Nice Rachel is where this entire thing falls apart, for 2 big reasons. First off, she's annoying as fuck, giving a weird Valley Girl nature to everything she does, throwing around and whatever into everything. Conversations, narration, it never fucking stops. She's hyper-emotional and starts crying at a drop of a hat, derails the story to talk about how such and such boy is cute, and is generally very stupid. It's a stereotype, clueless, small rat character, and she narrates half the book. Ugh. But the second, and for me far bigger reason this falls apart, is that this makes no sense to Rachel's character. Typically, a plot where a person gets split into 2 like this is used to explore aspects of that character by means of separation and magnification. There are variants to what exactly is separated in such a scenario. For example, the Star Trek episode The Enemy Within wasn't so much about aspects of Captain Kirk specifically as it was about general human characteristics, namely our animalistic passions and our intellect. While the Star Trek Voyager episode Faces is more about the specific passions and specific intellect of the character of B'Elanna Torres. While certainly hokey, this kind of story can do a good job at presenting a character in a new light and really driving home what this certain character is all about. But that can't work if nothing about either of these split personalities don't have anything to do with the original character. And Rachel has never displayed any airhead, dumb blonde characteristics. Never, ever. If anything, she has a rather strong intellect. She even won an award for being an outstanding student, the kind of award that has a ceremony, and all while secretly fighting a guerrilla war against alien invaders. The closest we see to this kind of behavior from her is when she was talking about Jeremy Jason McCole, and gushing over one celebrity crush does not an airhead make. Hell, I'd be just as weak to the knees if I met Tim Curry. Nice Rachel is a complete fabrication that has nothing to do with Rachel Prime. If we are to really take Nice Rachel seriously and consider her a core aspect of Rachel's character, what exactly is that telling us? I mean, it all pretty much boils down to Rachel would be a homicidal maniac who would have killed the other Animorphs if she wasn't so stupid and childish. And that simply does not ring true of what we know from her. We'll get back to this later. For now, on with the plot. Sometime between this book and the last, the Chee discovered that the Yeerks had developed something called an anti-morphing ray. I'll have more to say about this development in the next book review, but for now, anti-morphing ray? Animorphs are usually pretty good about coming up with names for its sci-fi science, things like shredders and Dracon beams and Z-space, all of which are not actually new premises in sci-fi, but feel new because of their unique and alien naming. Anti-morphing ray is about as elegant of a name as shark repellent spray. The nearest thing in this series to that is the morphing cube, and that's only the Animorphs' nickname for it and not the official Andalite terminology. Anti-morphing ray, now that's just goofy. But anyway, the Animorphs need to find this thing and destroy it before it's used on them, but they quickly catch wind of what's going on with Rachel. Cassie looked at me. Rachel, tell me what you said to me about Marco on our way over here. What? What you said to me on the bus about Marco. You mean that he was, like, funny? Oh my, Jake whispered. Rachel, Cassie pressed, what do you think of Marco's looks? I shrugged. I smiled. He's, like, cute, all right? Marco sat down very suddenly, on the hay-strewn floor. Jake looked pale. This is unusual, Axe said in thought-speak. They first assume it's a Yeerk thing, but then Mean Rachel arrives at the bar and everyone realizes what's going on. Axe doesn't really understand it. Eric shows up and can't figure it out either. Cassie eventually gets to the bottom of this when they mention the starfish morph, but there's nothing to be done about it right now. Mean Rachel is incredibly hard to manage, getting insulted by the slightest joke or any time Jake starts giving her orders, and Nice Rachel spending her entire time sobbing in a pile of hay. The Animorphs have managed to locate the anti-morphing ray. It's being held at the Byers Research Institute, one of those private product approval companies like Underwriters Laboratories. I guess if you control a certification company, you might as well certify your sci-fi ray gun. The Animorphs need to look into the place, but both Rachels are incapable of safely carrying out a mission, so Jake orders them both home because that's incredibly stupid. Between this and David, Jake's main blind spot as a leader seems to be finding places to hide his unruly fellow Animorphs. Hey, how about sending the Rachels to stay with the Chee and have one of the Chee take Rachel's place back at her house? Even with Mean Rachel sneaking into the house in cockroach morph, you still run the risk of one of the family members seeing both Rachels at the same time. And even if you get away with that, you still have her family confused when Rachel keeps bouncing back and forth between Miley Kentner and Kim Kelly. Mean Rachel bullies Nice Rachel a little bit, including tearing up a teddy bear. How's that for a kick the puppy moment for you? Eventually, Mean Rachel just up and leaves to join the mission anyway, but not before morphing an owl and trying to kill a cat. When she fails at this, she flips the fuck out. Rage boiled within me. I wanted that kill. I wanted that kill. I needed that kill. I needed to feel my talons breaking bone and squishing brain, and I couldn't think, couldn't focus. Madness, like blood in my eyes. The rage, it was like someone had exploded a hand grenade in my stomach. Like the explosion couldn't get out, but it was all contained inside me. My wings, they wouldn't work. I couldn't focus. Mine, mine, mine! My kill, my kill, my kill! I landed hard on a patch of grass beside the road. Cars zipped by, swirling me with their backwash. I lay there, on my back, feathers dampened by the grass, and kicked my bird legs and flapped my bird wings and threw my head back and forth and screamed, screamed and screamed and screamed, and still the volcano inside me would not die down. It seemed like forever. It was a fever, an illness, a tidal wave of emotion that had rolled over me. How long it lasted, I don't know. A long time, it seemed to me. Then, at last, it ebbed. It ebbed, leaving behind a shaky, uncertain feeling. Mean Rachel reaches the Institute, and upon hearing an alarm go off, gets a car off a car carrier truck and, well...
Who's driving? Oh my god, Bear's driving! How can that be?
So me and Rachel crashes into and drives around the Institute while in Grizzly Bear morph in a knee-jerk attempt to save the rest of the team. But unbeknownst to her, the alarm was a distraction caused by the Animorphs, and now the whole mission is a bust. The Animorphs are forced into a retreat without having destroyed the anti-morphing ray. But if me and Rachel screwed the pooch, then nice Rachel is having a one-night stand with the neighbor's Doberman, as she has taken it upon herself to call her father, and, through a long sequence of misunderstandings, convinces him to fly over so that she can tell him all about the Animorphs and the Yeerks and stuff. She has the foresight not to explain it all over the phone, but that's the extent of how far she's thought this out. Remember that. It'll be important later.